Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. Today we're welcoming some of the main characters from the play Othello, first published in 1604. We're also going to have two special guests join us at the end, so stay tuned. I want to dive deep and ask them the very difficult questions. I want all the tea.
Friend, you thirsty?
No, Karen. I want them to spill all the tea. You know, tell the truth and the secrets.
I want to know what love is.
Girl, what the?
Okay, what is love? Baby, don't hurt
Karen.
me. Okay, one more. What's love got to do? I said I got to do with
Somebody take
it.
the mic from this crazy bit.
Anyways, okay. Hang on to your corsets, garters, and smocks, because here they come.
First on the docket, we have Othello. I wonder what he's got to say for himself. All right, Mr. Othello, how are you today?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm alive and smiling, just fine, just normal, just
Please get on with it.
Oh, okay, this is gonna be fun. Question number 1. Throughout the play, the reader is shown the relationship between you and Desdemona as a loving one. However, your actions and words show differently. Why didn't you question her about the silk scarf?
My actions and words spoke differently, you say.
Pretty sure I spoke clearly, but yes,
Yeah.
spoke differently.
Our relationship was heavenly. It was very loving. I even went out of my way to speak harshly in front of my father-in-law, one of the most important men in Venice. And the scarf, you say? The scarf?
Mm-hmm, the scarf.
I did ask about the scarf. I made it very clear, abundantly clear how important it was to me.
Okay.
You made it clear how important it was, but did you ever ask her?
I did ask her where it was.
First of all, you're gonna need to calm down and get out your feelings.
Well, no, I did ask her where it was.
Okay, Othello, I'm gonna need you to take a step
Numerous
back
times.
and breathe. I'm gonna need you to take a breath, sir, because right now I'm feeling a little animosity.
Right, I understand,
and I don't understand that. I'm not Desdemona. We need to realize that up front. I will clap back. So, if we could continue with the questions, that'd be great. Thank you. Okay. How?
Before we continue,
Oh, okay.
you did ask specifically why did I not
Actually,
not
sir, I didn't ask. She asked. Thank you.
Nonetheless, it was asked. Why didn't I ask about the scarf?
It was
did.
asked, why didn't you question her about
I-
the silk scarf?
I did question her numerous times about where was that scarf. Did you not? You're not tracking that?
No, you're right. You asked her, but was it while she was dying or after she was dead? I don't remember that part. But you should. What you think?
She asked her soul from the grave.
You can't be serious.
I'm pretty sure we're serious, but if you're ill prepared to answer the question, we can move on. Anything else?
By all means.
All right. How do you, sir, define honor and loyalty? Two things he's obviously lacking.
Are you mocking me right now?
I'm not mocking.
We're
sir, I
simply
speak
asking
truth.
the questions.
No, I feel like you're mocking me only because it was clearly evident that I was loyal to the wrong person in the end.
Who would be this wrong person? Just so we're,
Throw it out
You
there.
fools.
Just throw it out there.
It was clearly
He
Iago.
just called me a fool, girl. Did he just call me a fool?
He did throw out a name, though.
FOOL is what he called me.
He did throw out a name, though.
Okay,
Got
I'm just
that on
checking.
recording.
Okay, we got that. Okay, go ahead. All right. A fool.
To answer.
A fool. He killed his innocent wife.
Answer your question.
But Iago is just his best friend, but he gonna kill Desdemona, who was just all in love with him over a scarf. He gonna
Sounds
kill her.
woman.
He didn't kill her. He suffocated. Don't. First of all, this is 2018. That is 2018, not 1604. Women can speak their minds. Women can speak their piece. Women can say what they would like without fear
Loyalty
of reprisal.
means
Fool.
I want to hear this.
He called me a fool. I don't want to hear nothing.
Karen, I want to hear this.
Okay, I'm quiet.
Does she want to hear this?
I want to hear
you
this.
want to hear this, ma'am, but I don't know if your counterpart wants.
Does it... Is my curiosity not enough?
Loyalty means to bear true faith to an individual. And
I'm sorry.
no,
My bad. Got a little sleepy.
it's perfectly fine. Honor is honorable to Iago because we've been on the battlefield together. What do I know? You wouldn't understand.
First of all, before we go
No.
to the next question, I need you to understand that, again, this is 2018. I know what the battlefield looks like. I have seen combat, and if you cross this chair, I'm going to show it to you, okay? I spent time in Iraq. I was in the military for 10 years as a security forces officer in charge of over 500 troops. Can you figure that out? So, on to the next question.
I think it's time to move on to the
I
next
think it's time to move on because we about to dance.
Okay, I know you haven't been exactly wanting to answer the questions entirely, but we're digging deeper. We want to know about your suicide. Was it meant to be honorable for you or a way to escape the guilt of killing your innocent wife?
Ooh.
There was no escape. There was just shame. Shame in how I was taken advantage of and how
He was taking advantage of. Him.
Yes,
He was taking advantage.
it was foolish.
No, in a way he was.
Girl-
However, he's not all out of the wrong.
To speak bluntly, I did proclaim that I wanted people to remember me as I am. In that moment, not in the past, however honorable or distinguished people might think of me. In that moment, I was a snake. I was a murderer, quite frankly. And that is how I want people to remember me.
Listen, I'm going to let you ask him this last question because I could be here all day.
So, given everything, we want to know what is one piece of advice you would give our listeners about love?
The real kind, not the advance your career because your future wife's daddy is important kind of love.
Oh,
the
don't.
real kind of love.
Don't.
From the heart.
From the heart.
Don't.
From right here.
I beg of you, don't.
You begging me? Okay, I like this.
Stop.
Oh, how the tables have turned. A man is begging a woman. Okay. Continue begging.
Your games are not needed
Okay.
and are not appreciated.
You done? Oh,
Love.
I hear his feelings.
Love hard. When you have that opportunity to, and you find that person, love hard. Don't hold back. Give everything you have to your significant other.
Well, thank you for your time, Othello. We are forever in your debt.
We've certainly had a time.
Enlightening. Goodbye.
Thank you. Good day.
Girl, I'm glad he out of here because he running my blood pressure up. Gonna ask me, have I ever seen comeback?
I thought I'd have to hold you back at some point.
Girl, you ready? You good?
I'm good. Are you good?
I need to catch my breath for this next interview, please.
Okay.
Iago, come here.
Good evening, Iago. Are you ready to delve into some questions?
Oh dear. Take me away.
Okay. So, first we wanted to know, what is your beef with Othello that made you destroy not only his life, but his relationship with what we call the love of his life, maybe?
Well, where to begin? Now, as I understand, your fellow interviewer and stuff is a soldier, yes?
First of all, my name's Karen.
Karen?
Iago. And
It's a
yes,
pleasure.
I was a
Excellent.
soldier. Thank you for recognizing that.
Certainly. Now, you can see it in the posture, of course. Very keen. Now, you understand, of course, that these people that fight together form a certain bond together. Now, me and Othello have been, I was his bannerman for, very, very quite a long time. And as the time came that certain promotions were to be had, particularly that of being his lieutenant, well, interestingly enough, I myself, despite being his most experienced and trusted advisor, was passed up for a city boy, as one might call him, this Michael Cassio, who has little to no military experience, but because of his helping foster this relationship between Othello and Desdemona, found himself in a certain position of power that was not his to have, frankly.
Please let me ask Iago a question, okay?
Go ahead.
First of all, are you upset? I'm just going to ask you flat out. Are you upset that Othello, a black man, outranked you? Because you mentioned doing all this because of some other guy, but you ruined Othello's life, not the other guys. So please explain.
Well, You see, I find Othello really to be, I think, as many people do, the exception among his kind. Particularly as he is, manning the defense of Cyrus, which is the border between that and those grave Turks around the. But you know that, of course. No, I find it was more of a personal betrayal, really, to pass me over and almost dishonor me, really. When I had gone so far to not only make myself useful as possible to him, but also had ingratiated myself to the senators of the city to speak on my behalf.
Oh, honest Iago, good Iago, is lying Iago. We know the truth. You are lying. You are using your words to manipulate. They're
You're
so flowery. They're so
you're-
charming. But we know the
thank you.
truth.
Maybe not necessarily in the way you want to think.
Keller? Exactly. Let's move on to the next question.
Okay.
Go ahead.
What can you tell us about your childhood and the relationship between your mother and your father?
Well, I think that's a deeply personal question that
I did tell you we were going to get into those questions.
No interest really in getting into. I think it's rather really quite childish to allow your personal bearing on your mother and father to influence your behavior. A man of my years really is beyond such petty things.
This guy. This young man, Iago. Do you want to readdress? Do you want to try that again?
Oh.
Let's. You know what?
You agreed.
Would you,
Re-ask
I
the
would be
question. We gonna
enthralled to hear
reverse-
you break down
We
my
gonna reverse
theoried
and we
relationship with my mother.
Listen.
Okay, if I might reword the question.
Thank you.
Certainly.
Maybe he'll get it then.
How has your relationship between your mother and your father translated into your thoughts about women?
Well, I think it's naive to believe that everyone isn't here to, get whatever it is that they can.
Didn't he answer the first question with the same beginning? I think it's naive.
Oh, well, you have to understand. I mean,
Might I interject that you did agree to
oh, certainly.
answer?
And I am about to elaborate on that. I think I will choose to refrain on my own words that, the difference between a smart, ugly woman and a dumb, pretty woman is null, frankly. We're all out here, poisonous snakes, trying to get what we can from the short time we have on this earth.
Oh, so you're saying everyone is evil?
Evil. That's such a tricky word, isn't it?
You just use poisonous.
Poisonous isn't necessarily evil, though, is it?
Oh, okay.
Use
So you
poisons in
everyone is
medicines.
poisonous. Ooh. Look at this guy and his words.
You want to take the next question?
I do want to
We're
take the
done?
next
Okay.
question. I want to rephrase, actually. So, your relationship with Emilia, Othello's relationship with Desdemona, marriages. You have Bianca. And what's her boo thing's name? Bianca's boo thing? Cassio. Prostitute and some Joe. They had a better relationship than you and your wife.
Yes. Well, she just doesn't stop talking.
Seen, but not
You
heard.
spend so much time in the din of war, and then you come back and the house is just as loud, and it's like, my God, just want to get some sleep.
Okay, so you don't know who I am. Let me introduce myself. I am Karen Nelson. I am an advocate for women's right and their right to speak and be heard and have an equal relationship with politics and life as the men do. We are not seen as property. So to ask your wife to be silent, be still, be seen, be unheard is not fair.
Well, the world's not fair.
Okay, you say that. However, you lashed out on Othello because the world was not fair.
This is true. This is a good point. And
Girl,
we
he lashed
saw
out at
how
Othello
that
because
ended
Othello
for
won.
Othello for acting unfairly towards me. Now his wife is dead, and so is he.
Did he? Okay, so it's Othello's fault. So now at first Othello was this grand man, and he was your, you were his go-to, and you were going to be promoted, and all this wonderfulness, and now it's just his fault that he died because you see what happened to Othello.
Well, I think he made that grave error himself.
Did you not have your wife take the scarf? Did you not
Oh, yes.
plan his entire demise?
You
Did
dug his
not?
grave for him.
You know,
And then kick the minute, girl.
Allow me to counterpoint. I think I've saved more lives by ensuring.
Oh,
his death.
let's end this interview.
Yes.
Let's end,
Michael
girl.
Cascio is not a man qualified to lead soldiers, and he is going to get people killed out there.
Cassio's going to get people killed, not the man
He's
who's doing
going
all
to
the
get people
killing.
killed.
Is what
I've
you're saying.
traded one life for countless others.
One life, not your own wife, not Othello's wife, not
Sis.
everybody else who.
Let's see what he say about this next question. That's what I want to know.
Okay. So we are asking a few people about their definition. What does honor and loyalty mean to you, given everything?
What'd I tell you?
Do it.
A fig. Look, there is certain conduct to be had in polite society, but it's all a simple game on the surface, isn't it?
I'm not. Don't look at me. I'm not gonna answer that. Nope. We asking you the questions, good sir. You're the interviewee. We're the interviewers.
Good sir, I'm flattered, thank you.
That was sarcasm. Did they have
That
sarcasm in
was a
1604?
stretch.
You know, I think they did.
I think they did.
You're right.
It could be.
You gonna answer the question or no?
Are you going to refrain, quote unquote, from
His words.
answering?
Indeed. Could you repeat the question, please?
Okay, what does honor and loyalty mean to you?
Well, I think it is a sort of adherence to rules that polite society is constructed. Certainly there is a sense of order to be maintained to quell our raging emotions, our carnal stings, our unbuddied lusts. And to betray that is, well, a dangerous step back into vicious and barbaric society.
Girl, were you honest or were you loyal to Othello?
Oh, for many years. Many, many years. And for a time, he was loyal to me.
I don't think he ever stopped being loyal to you.
I beg to differ.
Okay, well you keep begging. The next question is gonna be, what is one piece of advice you, honest Iago, would give listeners, honest Iago, about love, honest Iago?
It's a lust of the blood and the permission of the will. Love, or what you call love, is a feeling created by the gap of not having something that you desire. Poor Rodrigo, of course, is a victim of that in his obsession over Desdemona. But he's a fool.
Thank you for your time, Iago.
I think it's time for you to go.
I think it's time for you to beat
It's
feet.
been a consummate pleasure.
Oh, it's been great.
Please leave.
Goodbye. Girl, please tell me why Iago came in here with all them pretty words like we stupid. We know what's going on.
Honestly, we probably shouldn't have even
We
asked
just
him
cut him
here.
out the interview because, listen, it's Othello's fault. that
Did we
he-
even get answers?
No, we didn't get answers. We got a whole bunch of words.
Ugh.
We got a whole bunch of words and nothing else. Just empty. Just empty. It was naive. What? What bye? You good? Next on the docket.
All right, Desdemona, thank you so much for being here today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Yeah. So, as a icebreaker question, for anyone listening who may not know who you are, could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. My name is Desdemona. I am the daughter of Venetian Senator Brabantio and new wife to Othello, who is a general in the Venetian army.
All right, so what is your response to the many questions surrounding your virtue and purity?
My virtue and purity is very important to me, but I do believe that my reputation is tied to my husband's reputation. Before I was married, it was to my father, and after I was married, it was to Othello. And so long as I honored him and he did not dishonor himself, then my virtue was true. Say.
So, do you think it was Othello's love or his jealousy that killed you?
I think it was his love. I do not believe that Othello was capable of such jealousy. He was above that. And I know that he loved me deeply and truly, and he wouldn't have done such an unspeakable thing if he didn't believe he had reason.
So you think it was an action of passion?
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
All right. All right. So, Why didn't you tell the truth about the handkerchief?
I knew that the handkerchief was very important to Othello. In the moment that I realized it was misplaced, he was already in a bit of a fury. He was quite worked up. And he went on to explain the magic attached to the handkerchief and how it was important to his mother, and it just would have been awful if he knew that it had been lost. And it was not the right moment to confess that it was lost, and I did hope that I would find it.
So it was kind of to protect him.
Yes, to protect both of us, but
I can see that, yeah. So what is one piece of advice you could give our listeners about love?
I think when you're in love and you have a partner, the most important thing to remember is to respect them, and for them to respect you as well, having a mutual respect and to be honest with one another and to honor one another will make your lives so much easier, and your love will be able to grow. The end of my life, I was left confused and unsure of how I had gotten there, and if somehow we had been more open and more honest, if I had known anything different, maybe things could have been different. And now I do have to live with that regret for eternity.
Thank you so much for coming,
very
Desdemona.
much.
Thank you.
How you doing, Mr. Shakespeare? Mr. Shakespeare?
Sure. A bit disoriented.
Can I call you Billy?
Yes.
I
Billy.
appreciate it. Billy. So my first question for you is going to be, there are 3 women in the play of Othello. 2 of those women are married, that's Desdemona and Emilia, and one of those women, Bianca, is a prostitute. What are your views on the roles of women, and how do they, if at all, influence how you write them in your plays?
My views on the roles of women. They are very difficult. Not because of the women. Have you ever tried writing for a prepubescent boy? Oh, it is... They're all right with the learning lines. There is not much they do well. And so they get limited time on the stage. Of course, if you're worried about the characters of the women, then you do not have to look at me. It is not up to me whether women get to do things. I write the stories, society gets to dictate that.
So what side of that societal dictation do you lean towards?
The part that gets me paid.
Understood.
Fair enough.
I like Billy.
So shall we move on to the second question?
We shall.
All right, so...
I feel proper. We shall.
We shall. So what do the characters' names in your plays represent, if anything? For example, Iago sounds a lot like ego.
Ego. That's a fun
And he got a
word.
big one.
Fun word.
Yes.
I do have a question for you.
Yes.
What does your name represent?
My name is Haley, and, well, my dad heard it from Haley's Comet, so...
And now, how many children have your parents had to name in one night?
Just one.
That aside,
Yes.
Iago, perhaps I make no promises about exactly how my process works. I get ideas, I do not strive to find them. There is a saint of a same name known for killing Moors. And perhaps that is an appropriate comparison.
Yes.
I'm telling you.
Well, he is a jerk.
The tea.
What did you want me to name him?
You
Fair.
are right on that.
The tea.
The tea has been
The
spilled.
tea. First of all, thank you
Tea,
for
I
coming
love tea.
and joining
Yes,
us.
we do too.
Thank you for joining us. I just wanted to show my appreciation.
Yes, you're welcome for however I got here.
Very carefully. My question for you is, what is the symbolism behind all the murders happening in the bedchambers and on the bed of Othello and Desdemona's presumably unconsummated marriage?
Well, when you're looking to kill someone, you would perhaps not do so in the street in broad daylight. When you're looking to kill someone in the next minute or so before you calm down, and it has to be now, and you're in a bedroom, because that's what you're talking about. That's the kind of scene you're in, and there are a lot of scenes in which it is appropriate to be in a bedroom between a married couple yet to consummate. I'm sure they are very distracted. Bedrooms, people die. People die a lot of places, but when you're talking about bedroom things, there are ladies present, one is liable to be dying in a bedroom.
That is a very interesting answer. Okay, I'm going to ask you your last question. How does the relationship between Cassio and Bianca compare to the relationships of Iago and Emilia and Desdemona and Othello? Because they seem to be happier, though their relationship titles were a wee bit different.
Iago and Emilia aside, you will notice that both Desdemona and Othello and Cassio and Bianca have relationships marred by jealousy based on lies from outside. And it is interesting, then, that in the case with the truly pure Desdemona, Othello, our lead character, takes those lies and murders his wife. And Bianca does not murder anyone. And I feel like this, perhaps, is a commentary on how I was feeling at the time, what was appropriate to write, what would be interesting for the audience, the effects of military service on men. There are many possible questions this could be the answer to. Mostly, it worked with the plot. Everything ended. People liked it. People still remember it. There's some things I hear that people don't still remember so well, and that's probably for the best.
Interesting. Is there anything you would want to make sure people remember that you haven't
Discussed
when it was published or when you first started performing it?
There is one thing. Christopher Marlowe is a well-known and fine playwright, and I wrote my own bloody plays, thank you very much.
If you could just speak into the mic,
Yeah.
Mr. Shakespeare, just lean.
Say it again.
This is called a microphone.
People in the back.
I would just like to say, Marlowe, you nope, can't say that here. I appreciate any time we may have spent together, but get your grubby hands off my work.
Marlo about to catch these hands from Billy.
Thank you for joining us.
But of course, thank you.
Thank
Someone
you.
said there would be tea.
There will be tea.
There will.
There has already been tea.
The tea has been spilled, that is for sure.
Oh, tragic.
So, Queen Elizabeth, how are you today?
We're doing quite well this day, thank you.
Quite well this day. I like it. Can you say it again?
We're doing quite well this day.
Quite well this day. So, I have a question for you, and this is coming from me being a very strong, self-identifying woman who likes to put herself out there and advocate for women's rights. So, bear with me when I ask you this question. I do not mean offense. Are you ready?
I believe so, yes.
All right, here we go. So Shakespeare wrote most of his plays with you in mind. Maybe it's because he wanted to keep his job. Maybe it's because he didn't want to die. I'm not sure. However, he didn't portray women in the best light. There's always a spectrum, not one ideal woman. What are your views on women's roles?
What we think about women's roles. Well, women are the backbone of society, and without women, the whole of everything would fall apart. It's just simply the way it is. If you think about it, we sort of let men pretend that they're in charge of things, and
Girl, don't we?
and you know, they take all the credit and we do all the work.
I like her.
So, okay, so that puts me in the mind of something my mom says. So, my mom was born in 1964, right? So, she was of the era of women were able to stretch their wings, but they were still held to a certain societal norm, but she would always tell me men are the head of the house, but the woman is the neck, without which the head cannot turn. What do you think about that?
Well, as sovereign, we are the head and the neck.
True story. How do you compare yourself to the description Shakespeare gives about women in his plays?
We are not a woman, we are the sovereign. There's no comparison.
So,
Sounds kind of cultish, but okay.
in many plays, Shakespeare attacks the female characters that tend to represent the ideal woman. What traits do you think make an ideal woman?
Speaking for women as I observe them and not as myself, the ideal woman seems to be one who yields to her husband and yields to his authority. And yet, that is not something I wish for myself. I have never married. I have never been interested in marrying. If I had to marry, I would have to give up my control of the throne, of the country, of all of my power, and I have no interest in doing that.
So, speaking of the ideal woman again, why do you think Shakespeare usually attacks them and makes them the victim?
But it's so easy to, do you see? And Master Shakespeare's primary object in his plays is to entertain, and not only, while one could argue that he is very much interested in currying my favour, one also cannot deny that he is very much interested in entertaining the common populace. And these women in the common populace are very much the same sort of women he portrays.
Our last question for you. Most of Shakespeare's great works were influenced by your own reign. How do you feel your legacy influenced Shakespearean theater?
I'm the queen, don't I influence everything?
Fair enough.
Yes.
I mean, she okay.
Short and sweet. Is there
Well,
anything else you'd like
to
to
the
add
point.
based on anything we've asked or what we haven't asked?
Do you know, I very much enjoyed that Falstaff in Master Shakespeare's works. Very much a favourite character of mine.
Really?
So just out of curiosity then, how do you feel about his description of honor?
It's but a word.
Tis
Right.
but a word.
But a
Do you adhere?
Terribly sorry, can you repeat that?
Well, how do you think? What do you think about Falstaff's definition of honor and how much he questions it, and like, do you adhere to his ideals about honor?
Oh, Falstaff is just funny. I just like him. He makes me laugh. That's all.
Right. Not to be taken seriously.
Precisely.
Thank you for
Yes,
coming,
thank you
Your
so
Majesty.
much.
1 second.
Oh, okay.
I have a question I would like to ask.
Go ahead.
Her Majesty. Speaking of Falstaff making you laugh, now in 2018, women look for certain characteristics in men, and I acknowledge and applaud your ability and your desire to remain all-powerful by yourself. I think women who can do it alone are to be looked up to and revered. However, I would like to know, what characteristics would you look into a dude you would like date? Like, Queen D, come on. You want a funny guy, a cute guy, a tall guy, a skinny guy?
I suppose it doesn't much matter as long as he just does what I tell him, right?
Like Shakespeare.
Tea? No.
I mean, you can spill the secrets now, ma'am. Was there ever a relationship?
Do you mean have I taken lovers, or do you mean have I taken specifically Master Shakespeare as a lover?
Specifically, because we know there were lovers. Or you want to put old girl in the tower because he married without asking you. But we're going to skip over that real quick. Have you ever taken a liking to Shakespeare? He told me I can call him Billy. I feel special. Billy.
A lady never tells.
Kiss
I like her.
Kiss don't tell.
She's my hero. Well, I did that one just spilt right out. I apologize.
I like that. No.
That's all I had. Ooh, that's my girl right there, Queen E. That's my girl. We're gonna have tea together.
Thank you, Your Majesty.
No, Shakespeare's not invited.
Oh, okay.
Hey, let me call her Queen E though.
Let you call him Billy.
Let me call her Billy though.
They were way more willing to participate than I thought it would be.
Way more willing to participate than some of the other people.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Thank you to all y'all who participated.
Yeah, that was amazing.
I have a lot of appreciation.
Yeah, Iago's interview was like one of my favorites. You really had to tell it to him, Karen.
Hey, y'all know I will turn up with the quickness.
I thought I was gonna have to hold you back, hold your earrings.
I done popped off nails, earrings, shoes. It all came off. I was ready. Othello, bot caught these hands. But anyway, did y'all have fun?
Yeah, did you?
Definitely.
You know I had fun. I'm gonna have some fun. If anybody else have fun, it'll be me.
Well, stay tuned for episode 2 if you're interested.
Episode dose.
Numero dos.
And we hope you are excited to learn about Shakespeare.
Heck yeah.
And don't forget, take it out there to the community. Everyone needs to remember the arts. Don't forget. Deuces.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.